What is up, guys? It is your girl Antoinette, your YouTube bestie, back with another video. And today's video is going to be commentary. So if you guys are here seeing my debt-free journey videos, I am sorry that is not one of these. This is actually a video that I've been thinking about doing, but I was too afraid that I didn't really have enough to say, or I didn't have anything intelligent to say on this specific topic. But I definitely have a bone to pick with the Black community, and it's taken me a while to formulate my thoughts, but I definitely wanted to get these out there and maybe have a discussion. And if you see the title of the video, you know a little bit of what the discussion is about. But let's go ahead and just get into it. Let's just go ahead and dive in. So recently, with the formulation of social media, we've been able to see a lot of lives and a lot of the different ways that people live, and a big chunk of that is parenting. And if you are in the Black community, you understand what I'm doing and where I'm coming from with this video. It has been bad parenting that has been shown a limelight, that a limelight has been shined on. Either way it goes, we've been seeing a lot of these videos where parents have come onto the internet to get clout or points or claps or kudos for saying things and doing things that are basically abuse and very controlling and very, like, it's just outrageous, some of the things that these parents do, especially to humiliate their kids on social media. And it seems like a lack of accountability on parents of this generation's fault. I'm not talking about Gen Z, Gen X, hopefully, but I'm talking about the oldest, like millennials, boomers, all of these people in the Black community who have raised children and don't understand why their children don't want anything to do with them. And if you are a parent and you are watching this, you are going to have some reservations about it, because I don't think I want to sugarcoat anything. It's either we address these issues and better our community, or we continue to fall and we continue to see things that we don't want to see, right? So this is like right off the dome. This is not rehearsed. I didn't write a script. I didn't think of anything to specifically say in this video, because like I said, it's been sitting here for a while. So my issues with the Black community and parenting is that Black people have a slave mentality, and we tend to raise our children as to be seen and not heard, and we tend to treat them as if they're not actual human beings with feelings and with thoughts and a mind of their own, and we raise them as some kind of extension of us, when really that is not, like, that's furthest from the truth. We raise children as if they're some sort of clones, and it's honestly as dictatorships. There is no authoritative parenting happening. It's only authoritarian. It's my way or the highway. And for you to do that, it perplexes me, because we are, like, people want to have kids and they're having them for all the wrong reasons. I don't know if there's a right reason to want to have kids at this point in the game. People have them, they do. What can you do? They're here in this world. But you can definitely choose to change your ways and act better and be better for these little humans that you are raising to turn into bigger humans that become our problem, that become a problem to entire society, because you decided to raise them the way you do. See, this is where it gets tricky, because I'm not naming any specific things because there's so much. But recently I've noticed that there is a trend that's been going on for the last 5 or 6 years, where parents upload themselves humiliating their children on the internet as punishment for claps, for likes, for people to see, oh, look at this, I'm such a tough parent, I can parent my children and they're going to listen to me whether they like it or not, or they're going to do this whether they like it or not. They had this behavior, so I'm going to cut off all their hair. I'm going to give them a bad haircut. I'm going to submit my child to bullying because I think that they shouldn't act like this anymore. I can't fathom in what sick and twisted way you think cutting off all of your child's hair or altering a part of their body, it's not your body, you're altering parts of their body for humiliation, for them to be ridiculed and laughed at, and you think that is a good feeling. You think that is straightening them out. I would harbor that hatred and I would harbor those feelings for the rest of my life if my parents ever thought to, let's go give her a bold cut, let's go give her a bold cut, a bald fade, just because she maybe misbehaves a couple days in school. There are right and wrong ways to discipline a child, and everybody to each its own. No, it's not to each its own. Not with me. Not with the way y'all are treating these kids as if they are not people. Like, I keep reiterating that because I guess y'all don't understand. Nobody understands what these kids are going through with the new age of social media, and then you take to social media to humiliate your child, to make them feel as if they are less than, or to make them feel bad intentionally. That's not discipline, and honestly, I am glad my parents did not have social media. So you got this far into the video and you may think that I'm being too sensitive, and that is just fine. We need more sensitive people in the world. Otherwise you end up with people like Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, who has no thinking skills, no type of critical thinking skills, no type of intelligence, and no type of empathy for other people, because clearly his parents did not give him that. They did not give him the right to think, or maybe they were raised that same way. But I definitely have to say, the way the Black community is, I really want better for us. There was a thing on TikTok, I'm gonna insert it or link it down below. So there have been a few videos on TikTok that I find particularly alarming, and I'll link some of them down below if I'm able to find them and save them. But it's a thing with food in the Black community that I've seen in a ton of households. Parents go out and go grocery shopping, and then they get mad that the children eat the food that they bought to be eaten. Yeah, I just bought this big box of Oreos. I bought a big box of Oreos, and I decided that I don't want my children to eat them because they'll eat them all up, which is the point of buying the Oreos, for them to be eaten. Like, it's not on display. And I remember the TikTok video was of a mother who literally, or a grandmother who literally had 2 bags of waffles, the Eggo waffles, 2 bags of them in her hands, and she's yelling at her high school aged grandson or son because he ate some of the waffles, and he only said he had 2, and she's mad that he ate them. And then she questions how he was able to get into her refrigerator because she's locking it. First of all, that's abuse. It's abuse. And second of all, why did you buy them if I can't eat them? Again, is this a museum? Are these for display? There was another video, the exact same, that I recently just watched, where a woman or a man or whoever posted it was like, our food pantry closes at 8 p.m. and they put a lock on the pantry. Like, you as an adult decided that you didn't want your kids eating in the middle of the night, so you put a lock on the pantry. And this is where we get into conscious parenting and traumatizing your kids. And there was a statement that I saw on TikTok where it's like, Black parents would rather traumatize their children than practice conscious parenting. You would rather go ahead and lock a pantry and lock their access to food rather than think about, why is my child so hungry in the middle of the night? Would I be able to leave oranges out, or would I be able to leave crackers or apples or something healthy, or even not healthy, but something that's there that say, hey, here's your bucket of snacks. You only get this many snacks a week, so if you eat them all, those are your consequences. You don't get any more snacks until the next week, until I replenish it. You would just rather lock all the snacks away and call it a day. And locking that food is how kids develop eating disorders. It's how kids develop food hoarding and hoard their food because, oh, I don't have access to it tonight, so in my mind, I need to make sure that if I get hungry at night, let me go ahead and grab all this food and go hide it under my bed or go hide it in my room. The Black community is so caught up on making sure that they can control little human beings, because that's the main reason why I see Black people having children, is because they don't have any control in their adult life and they feel minuscule and they feel little, so they go out and have children and treat them any kind of way because they can control them. Because humans, as little kids, we're defenseless. We have to listen to our parents. We feel that we have to love these people who are treating us as less than them, treating us as under them, and then these parents wonder why they end up in nursing homes. I'm gonna let that sink in. I'll let y'all pause. So that was what really enraged me, because it's just like, if your child is hungry at night, they're growing, maybe they didn't feel full when they ate, so how do I combat this? How do I sit down and talk to them? Hey, why are you hungry? Why do you keep going in the kitchen? What can we do? What do you think you would like, maybe to keep something in your bedroom, like an apple? Do you think you want crackers, cheeses, something like that maybe, okay, you can't have all this food in this pantry, but here's how we're gonna work towards that. Here's how we're gonna think better and help you not be hungry in the middle of the night so you can go back to sleep, so you can be up. I am so sick of these tired methods that we are bringing into our community and that we're keeping and passing down to other people. Definitely with my child is my legacy, and my child has to take on my legacy, and my child better act right, because my child is going to take care of me, and my child is going to be taking care of me, and I better not end up in a nursing home. Like, no, you having children for the sole purpose of them taking care of you when you are older is selfish, especially when you treat them like crap, especially when you did less than to raise them to be trauma free, to be their own individual, their own person. It's so, like, that's so crazy to me. There's just so much that goes into parenting, and I don't have kids, but I definitely see how I don't want to treat my children, how y'all treat children. And my kids can be soft, you can call them whatever they want to, but my kids will also be functioning humans in society without anger issues, without all the trauma and the anxiety. You can't sometimes control that, but you definitely are contributing to it when you treat your children as if they are robots that you have to control and micromanage. The Black community definitely has a way of micromanaging and controlling their children. Like, growing up, I wasn't allowed to say the word liar. The word lie is a cuss word. Why? Why is that? You don't have a specific explanation other than, oh, well, it was a lie when I was growing up, so no. Why? If you are lying, then you're lying. If you are lying, then you're lying. That seems like a problem of avoiding accountability in the form of narcissism, that you don't want your kids to call you out on your bullshit when you are being hypocritical towards them, or you are being in a place where it's not making sense to a 5-year-old. Why you were just able to lie, but they can't. Why were you able to do this and make me feel this way, but when I call you out on it, I'm wrong and I'm the one getting in trouble? Because y'all don't practice critical thinking skills. You don't practice, why do I need to explain this to my child who's going to grow up into an adult who can't function in the workforce, who can't function in society, who has trouble making friends, who has all of these issues, because I didn't want to take the 5 minutes it takes to tell a little girl or a little boy, okay, this is what happened, this is what I did. Or the excuse, oh, I don't have to tell them, I'm an adult. But how did you feel at that age when your parents didn't tell you something? How did you feel at that age when your parents made you feel less than? And why are we not practicing difference now? I have to say, this generation will not be breaking any generational curses. I don't know why we keep saying that when we keep adopting and taking forward those same sentiments and same morals and values that our parents had and enforcing them on the generation that's next to come. Because we've been doing it, as we can see on social media, it's happening. I'm skeptical about having kids is because I do not want to bring my trauma and my shortcomings onto my children. I don't want to bring that on another human being, especially a child whose innocence is always taken so soon, because we do parts of that. The world does parts of that. Oh, I want to get them prepared for the world. I want to get them ready for the world. So maybe you should definitely provide that love and comfort at home and let them know and give them that sense of purpose and that sense of self. So when they do go out, they know who they are, they know what they stand for, and they aren't afraid of authority, or they aren't afraid to challenge things in a way that makes sense and are not just lashing out and treating people like shit. It takes consciousness, it takes effort, and it's definitely not something that we're doing. Especially these videos of maybe a 2-year-old acting out and you say, just hit them, just smack them, just give them a whooping. First of all, this 2-year-old has been in the world 2 years. Did you know everything at 2 years? When you started a new job, did you know everything? Let's say you just started as a cashier at work and you don't know where a specific button is, or maybe you messed up on a specific buttons and you've only been here 2 weeks. 2 weeks, like, we're comparing it to that 2-year-old. You've only been here 2 weeks, you don't know all the buttons, so your boss comes and smacks you. Your boss tells you, come on, let's go to the back office so I can take off my belt and whoop you. Do you think that's appropriate? Do you think that is an appropriate response for you messing up and being in a new environment and learning and trying to remember everything and maybe not being able to control what you remember or what you know about the specific situation? Do you think you deserve to be hit for that? Because I can tell you now, lots of y'all would quit if that were the case. Lots of y'all would leave if that were the case. And we're applying these same sentiments to a 2-year-old. Why do you think a 2-year-old who doesn't understand why they can't have this treat should be hit? You're hitting a kid into submission. That's a slave mentality. You're whipping them, you're hitting them, you're beating them, popping them, whatever you want to call it. It's abuse because they did not understand, because they've been in the world 2 years and they're still learning how to formulate and function and tell you their thoughts and their feelings. So crying is as a natural reaction because they're 2. You apply that to a child and you just, okay, no, because I'm an adult and I have a mind and I have had 20 years to figure out how to form my thoughts and opinions. I think this 2-year-old who doesn't have as much time should act like an adult. Oh, your kids are gonna act out, they're not gonna listen to you. No, nobody's saying you have to be run over, but also a 2-year-old that's been in the world that barely knows how to hold a fork is supposed to know how to act in public? No, remove them from the situation. Wait until they calm down. This is not how we act. This is not what we do. So we're gonna go in there and try again. And if you continue the same way, we're going home and we're gonna go back and sit out here until you learn, until you realize this crying does not get me what I want. This throwing tantrums, throwing myself on the floor does not get me what I want. But you hitting me only makes me realize that, okay, it's getting me some kind of attention from my parents. Me getting hit is, okay, now I'm scared. Why can't I ask ask for this cookie? Why can't I ask for what I want? I'm 15. Why can't I ask my parents for birth control? Why can't I ask my parents if I'm ready to have sexual intercourse? I'm scared because maybe they'll hit me, or maybe they'll beat me up, or maybe that this person that I'm relying on, that's supposed to be the best person in the world to me, is treating me like this. It's hitting me because they don't know how to formulate their own thoughts at their big age, whereas I'm just a certain age and learning about the world. Why don't we ever think about that? Why don't Black parents think about that? Like, you sit down and really look at the human that you birthed and the human that you thought about, and you realize, okay, maybe I should try a different method. Because me hitting you is teaching you what? To fear me, to not trust me, to not view me as that person that you can come to. Because that's exactly what those types of relationships are creating. And if you decide to spank your children, go ahead. I definitely don't approve, but you don't need my approval, right? You don't need my approval, but you are also breaking a bridge and a bond with your children by not talking to them, by not listening to them, and thinking that just because what you say, because you're the parent, goes. You didn't like that when you were a kid, so why bring that same thing to your child? Why re-traumatize the next generation? A lot of this generation I love because they're more tolerant, and they're more in tune with their feelings, and they're more in tune with their mental health. And they say, hey, I'm not feeling well today. Instead of going to work or going to school and taking this out on the thousands of other people that I come into contact with, I'm gonna call in, I'm gonna ask to stay home, and I'm gonna take the time it needs to decompress, and then come back the next day. And when I'm feeling my best, when I feel that I don't have to put that trauma or that depression or that anxiety or my harsh feelings onto other people. We're not practicing that at home in a lot of Black communities and a lot of Black families that I see. And if you are, then congratulations, you're on your way to being a great human, and you're on your way to raising great functioning human. And I'm not saying all of my thoughts about child rearing are right. I'm not saying all of my thoughts are child rearing are respectful, or depending on the situation, depending on the kid, different things work for different kids. But if your initial reaction is to smack your child because they did something wrong, or they behaved in a certain way, but then you go out and maybe they don't listen to that cop, or maybe they don't do this or that, then the cop hits them and they're like, oh, maybe I deserved it, or maybe I did something to do wrong, or maybe my reaction to what their reaction was appropriate. And I'm in no way condoning police brutality. That is not what I'm saying. I am no way condoning brutality of any kind. I'm just saying everything that you do while helping to shape those little humans, while bringing them up, has consequences. I definitely think we have a chance to be different than our ancestors. I definitely think we have a chance to change our ancestors' way. And I definitely think that it is time for us to acknowledge that our thoughts and our feelings do not make up this little human who is going to grow up to form their own thoughts and feelings and leave us in the dust, and stop calling us and block our numbers and change their address so we don't know it, unless we change and start treating these kids as humans, unless we change and start treating these kids as people with feelings. Talk to me. What's wrong? How was school? Do you think there's anything at school you can change about your day tomorrow? What can I do to help you thrive in school? What can I do to support? I think that is it for this video. I definitely have a lot, but I'm pretty much drawing a blank when it comes to other things. It's weird, and it's definitely something to think about. You don't have to agree with this video. I definitely would still love to hear your comments. As I said, conscious parenting, thinking about what we're doing, thinking about these kids as part of a community at large, and wondering how we would do it to help raise them into better human beings, instead of just no locked doors. This is my house. You don't pay rent. You don't live here. You don't get to have your own thoughts. You don't get to have your opinions or feelings about your own life and yourself. And yeah, and I do hope you go ahead and subscribe if you liked it. Yeah, see you next video. Peace.